Well, we have 3 different loadouts for the Sybaris. We have a corrosive build, a viral hunter munitions build, and a nourish build. Actually, make it 4. One with Saren, because Saren just makes everything better. On this one, we picked increased base damage and multi-shot. Stacks up to 10 times. Huge. More multi-shot, more bullets, minus weapon recoil, or we can even... The other ones are just not worth it. This sucks. This only works if you're not in an Incarnon, so worthless. This... only useful and not Incarnon. So the only good one to take is the minus recoil. Not working, also getting fixed. Yeah, we did a level cap with that weapon just for the funsies. And the last one, we take this one, gives us crit chance and status chance. The other one gives you full burst. This is base damage, by the way. It stacks up to 4 times. Absolutely worthless. You're better off using base damage mods or even a serration. This one, you take this one. Don't be dumb. Take this one. So we got 2 setups that are without any buffs. So we got a corrosive build, fast hands. Guys, do not underestimate reload speed. This affects this weapon and going in and out of Incarnon. Also, Sybaris Prime has one of the worst Incarnon charging mechanics in the entire game. It takes 1 year to charge Incarnon. There you go. That's Incarnon. For those who don't understand how fast the Incarnon charges, let's use the Cestra, for example. We're done. Sicarus. We're done. There you go. So Sybaris really sucks when it charges Incarnon. So when you finally get your Incarnon charge, it has forced blast procs on every hit. And yes, this can propagate to nearby enemies. And unfortunately, it's not affected by Prime Firestorm. Unfortunate. So that's your basic corrosive build. As you can see, it does damage, but it's very slow. The other build, of course, is Hunter Munitions. What would you put here? You go for Vigilante Supplies, more critical tier. Simple build. You don't want to use Deadhead. Corrosive, you run Deadhead because you need direct kills. So the munitions build, you go with Merciless. You have your faction damage mod, of course. And the worst part is, when you run a Hunter Munitions build, you're probably going to kill an enemy before you even charge Incarnon. Because you're going to bleed them to death. Wait, hold up. Why did I have... I just realized one thing. I was using Nourish on this one. Yeah. Anyway. That's what I meant. See, you kill the enemy before you charge Incarnon. But yeah. This has better ad clear potential. Because viral / blast and the blast critting on the explosions and all that will proc munitions. So, your usual build. And you can run corrosive, nourish with Hunter Munitions. You can do that. The heat one, this is a Saren setup. We remove that. You run primary blight. To be honest, since we're going to be using Saren with purple shards, that will give you electric. So you don't actually even need to mod for any element. So now you have free slots. You can put pretty much whatever you want. Let's do stupid things. Like there you go. And we're going to run base damage here. So this is something a Saren would run. So my Saren has the purple shards to give me electricity. So my weapon has electricity in there. So roar, toxin, corrosive. Yeah, so this is going to be an issue because I can't charge Incarnon because I'm doing too much damage. This is the problem. I still haven't charged my... I finally got my Incarnon, and I killed most of the enemies. So now you're going to have Corrosive Blast. Alright, so... you can shout out Blast is meta. So yeah. Giga Explosions right there. Saren always makes everything better. So that's what you can do with the Sybaris. Unfortunately, it's not that great of a weapon. Now, the Dera Cope Vandal. Now, this weapon is pretty good on its regular mode, not its Incarnon. Its Incarnon is good if you want to get rid of a high health target that has Overguard, because the weapon itself will have magnetic in its Incarnon form. For its second evolution, we went with this one. More fire rate on status effect. Very nice. You're easily gonna get this. It needs the fire rate. Ammo efficiency, this only affects the regular mode. So you can only use this when you're using the regular mode. This one is for the Incarnon. Projectile flight speed, super important. Otherwise, this is meh, and this is meh. Then finally, increase base crit chance and increase base critical damage. So more damage. Otherwise, this is trash, and this is horrible. Don't do this one. Actually, you could take that one if you're doing regular mode. My bad. So yeah, this is the regular mode. It's a decent basic bitch auto rifle. You go in Incarnon. Very slow, by the way. So when you proc a status effect, you see how the fire rate is getting faster. Now, this is good against enemies that have Overguard. So let's say we get our Overguarded enemies. All right. So that's 3 shots. Pretty decent, right? You would destroy the Overguard in 1 hit. So if you're a fan of scout rifles in Destiny 2, this is pretty huge. It can dish out quite a decent amount of damage. But it's definitely not as impressive as the other Incarnons. The build is just a basic corrosive build. Deadhead for the base damage, headshot damage multiplier, and negative recoil. Always good if you're running a corrosive build, you go for Deadhead. If you're running a Hunter Munitions build, again, you put viral Hunter Munitions. Like, it's not that hard. Very easy. What would you replace on a viral Hunter Munitions build? You can drop Galvanize, put Hunter Munitions. If you're running Roar, right? You can just drop the faction mod, go Hunter Munitions, because this is basically Roar. Roar is this mod right here. Moving on to the Cestra. So the Cestra, we got... So let's explain the Cestra real quick. So the Cestra is a poor man's Laetum. It's projectile. It's Incarnon mode. Shoots out projectiles. Unfortunately, no ricochets. Ooh, we need 8 here. So... this is what you'll do. Again, same loadout, corrosive. This can be whatever you want. You want to put a faction mod, put a faction mod there. So boom, Orican. And then projectile flight speed. This season, true. So yeah, get your Incarnon charge. It's a projectile weapon. I have no base damage stacked up right now. So it gets stronger when we get our base damage up. So it can go into the red crit territory because it has a very high crit chance increase with the Incarnon evolutions in its Incarnon mode. Again, yeah, a poor man's Laetum. Wrong one. Here we go. The first one, we got increased base damage by 10. And on shield break or overguard break, you get more crit damage. As you saw there, I broke overguard, got more crit damage. This one, moving on, projectile flight speed. Do not take any of these. All of these suck. This it needs a projectile flight speed. It feels so slow without it. And the last one, critical damage increase. If you take anything else, you're a psychopath. More damage. This is a 2 times crit damage increase. So those are the guns, right? If you want to see the Sicarus, we got the video for Sicarus. I already covered Sicarus. Okina is very basic. It's a very basic melee. Now, what happens when you trigger the Incarnon evolution or the Incarnon activation, my bad. You get these ice daggers that float around you and they will apply a max cold on enemies. These daggers will scale with your elements on your weapon. So if you're modding it for a melee influence, you have viral electric, it will trigger viral electric. And funny enough, yes, they can be controlled with the Vara's Prowl. However, you're only able to navigate them properly if they're already targeting an enemy. Otherwise, if you're using them just like that, they won't go anywhere. So let's take Ivara real quick. I already have Okina. Perfect. So let's get our Incarnon mode. 6 times combo. All right. All right, so we got our daggers here. So we activate Navigator. Yes, you can control them. Unfortunately, they won't go anywhere unless they... So you have to time it properly. So let's kill. We got dagger. See, now I can control the dagger. So you saw it triggered a viral because I had viral on the weapon. Now, how would we build this? Number 1, use a Volt, Varuna, or Lavos when using Okina. Why? Because they just make melee influence really good. Let's start off with Varuna. The reason why we're using Varuna, right? We don't need to run Weeping Wounds with Varuna. That's it. And your daggers will trigger on enemies and nuke them. So this is a Varuna setup. This gives you some status chance, but Varuna will make this better. But this also gives you that status effect damage. So your melee influence will do more damage. And you're going to build it for crit because, again, this weapon has evolutions that scale with crit. So, without Roar, I'm not going to use Roar. So you got that crit going. Again, this is Varuna. I didn't use her 2. It's just her 1. If we use her 2, it's a different story, right? You saw how they all got frozen? Yeah, so that's a Varuna setup. And if we're going to use someone like Volt with Roar, of course, we don't need to run the electricity mod because we have Shock Trooper. But this time we need Weeping Wounds to up the status chance, right? So we have Viral, Blood Rush, Galvanized Steel for crit damage because it gives you 120% crit damage over the regular Organ Shatter. If I were to attack enemies right now, all right, you see it's just doing Slash and Viral. But when we activate Shock Trooper, now we got electricity, we got melee influence going. So yeah. There you go. Simple as that. Now, if you're using someone like Lavos, we have another loadout. We'll use this same loadout, which is similar to the Volt one. Why? Because he has Valence Formation. Valence Formation will give me electricity on all of my weapons. So I would hold down the 3rd ability to give me electricity, cast any of his abilities, and now I have electricity right there. This is a guaranteed proc with its own instance of damage. So... yeah, I don't even need combo. So if you want to attack normally, you could attack normally, right? 2.4 million damage. Pretty huge, right? But not as big as your mom. And that's just a regular slam. There you go. So that's what I'm saying. Use it on frames like Lavos, Volt, or Varuna. It's just going to be a lot of damage. And for the evolutions, right? We got this one. Increase base damage by 20 and on critical hit, status damage. So this is additive with Elementalist. So that's why your influence does a lot of damage. So that's why we're going to build it for crit as well. Now this one, yeah, fuck that one. More range, of course. And if you want utility, movement speed, you can take this. This is you don't need this. You have so many ways to maintain your combo. But if you're doing like, let's say, I don't know, disruption, I guess it could work. But range is going to be huge. 1 extra meter. Why not? And then the final one is increased status chance. Status duration. Huge. The other one, crit chance, crit damage. We already have enough crit chances on melee. We're going to be running Blood Rush. So useless. This one, increased crit... useless. Blood Rush. It has a base of 30%. You go for this one. Status chance and status duration. These are the new Incarnons. Nothing over the top. Nothing... oh, wait. There is actually an interesting interaction, by the way. And this, I don't know if this is a bug or anything, but if you have melee influence active and enemies attack you and you reflect the bullet back to the enemy, you can trigger influence off of that. It's not consistent. It's not consistent.